Dude, you know what this is?
What?
Episode 10.
Is it freaking for real?
Yes.
What? Oh! I don't know what that was, but
it would have been kind of redundant to do a big episode 10 celebration because we went all out last weekend.
Yeah,
last week's episode. Well, welcome back, Madison from Alaska.
Do I have the story for you?
I've been looking forward to hearing all about this because I've heard some things from some little birdies, but I really need to hear it from
the big birdie.
Yeah, exactly. Is that your nickname now?
Sure.
The big birdie.
I'm gonna change all of my socials to the big birdie. It's just a weird name.
At the big birdie.
Okay, well, where do I begin? So Monday is when we left, the 22nd, and we didn't leave until like noon. Me, Mom, and Dad were all packed and ready at 8 a.m. Ready to go, like eyes wide open.
Monday morning.
And then we had to wait like 4 hours to leave.
Mm-hmm.
So we all met up and we headed on to the airport, and we were at terminal like E or whatever. I don't know. N or E. There's too many terminals. It's so confusing. And I wasn't nervous at all, which I thought I would be, but I wasn't. The only thing I was nervous about was security, because they were all acting like I was going to get strip searched and patted down and that they were going to freaking put me in jail.
Like you were holding.
Yeah. And so when we got to security, at our gate, they were doing like the TSA only. So then we had to walk outside and then walk like, it wasn't that far, but it felt like forever. It was hot, to a different side.
And this is like noon, right? Or this is afternoon, right?
We got there at like 4. So it was like a 3-hour car ride. And so we got there.
We should preface this by saying this was your first time flying.
Oh,
and
yes.
I've never flown. So now both of y'all have flown before me.
Yeah.
I'm the only one in the family who's never gone on a plane at this point.
And I don't think you would like it.
I already know I wouldn't like it. I've had many nightmares.
We got on the first plane, and I looked over to Dad and I said, "Graydon would not like this at all."
What did he say?
He said, "Oh, I don't know." That's literally what he said.
I think
I would. Well, he doesn't like heights.
I wouldn't like it from being the first time. I'd be very nervous, but I think if I got that first time out of the way, I think I would be okay.
Yeah.
Plus, this wasn't like over the ocean per se. Like y'all weren't going to Europe, you know what I mean?
No, like
that
the
helps
whole time.
A little bit.
So me and Mom, Dad and Mom packed in one suitcase, which I knew red flag. They shouldn't have done that. They do it for every trip, and I don't understand why. Anyways.
Yeah, I would never do that. No. That's very interesting.
Yeah. So,
okay.
And they had to put some of their stuff in my bag, and I'm like, people.
We don't have enough room in this one bag. Can we use yours?
They had to put all their toiletries in my bag. And then, okay, so I guess I'm just going to say people's names because I don't really feel like having to say my mother's older sister. So Michael and Micah, they both checked in their bags. They brought the hugest suitcase. Why did they bring them that huge? I don't understand. So we check our bags in, and then we have to go through security. And it was very overwhelming. You take your shoes off, you have to get all the devices bigger than your phone. Well, here I have my Nintendo Switch, my Kindle, my digital camera. I had batteries. And so I had to get that and put it all on there, take my shoes off, go through the thing. And there was so much going at such a little amount of time. And so I think it was like Mom before me and then Dad after me. They make you hold your hands up. It feels like you're doing something wrong. It feels like you are going to prison. It feels like, where's my orange jumpsuit? And so then Dad, who has like drones behind me, I don't know if he got stopped. I don't think he got stopped. I think the guy behind him didn't send his thing through the x-ray machine correctly, and so I don't know what happened there. And so they make them take off their belts. I'm like, imagine a man not having any clothes, but only the clothes that are too big for him. And he had to take off his belt and his pants just fall. That's what I literally
just
told him.
Comically, he just doesn't think to hold him up or anything. Just like,
but luckily we didn't see none of that.
Good.
Okay, and so we were there so stinking early. And so we were all starving. It was like 4 or 5 at this point. Our flight didn't take off till 7:40. So we all eat. Mom and Michael and everybody else get margaritas. I'm like, oh, I have to sit by my mother. But it helped.
I'll
It
be
did.
needing one too.
It did help her loosen up, which I was glad because she was a nervous wreck. Oh, okay. So we were all sitting down waiting to leave DFW airport. Okay, I had shown them the cameo.
Happy 19th birthday, Madison, from Graydon and Cheryl, and from Ron Weasley and Woody Harrison, to name the few. Maybe in the end it'll make some sense, your podcast. So, keep working at it. In the end, the results out doesn't make any sense.
Oh my God!
That was awesome. Yeah.
Okay, so they were all cracking up, and so we got to the.
That's awesome.
We were waiting in the waiting area.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my Lanta, this man sits right beside me, looks just like Deep Roy. Okay.
He found you.
He found me, and he was like, it was 2 seats and then him, and they kept all making eye contact. They're over here laughing hysterically. Like, crying hysterical over this fact.
They all knew that it was like,
yes.
that it looked like him.
Yes, and then Marla was like, a name was called to go up to the counter and, like, check in, and it was some weird random name, and she was making a joke that it was him, and she said, Madison, go up there, y'all are married. I said, I made him take my last name, and so we kept getting so tickled, and I said, imagine he's going to be the one that sits right across our row. It's going to happen. Okay, so then they are calling all the groups, and we're group F. And so that's the last group they call. Well, he's in group F. I'm like, oh, gosh, he's going to sit beside us. Luckily, he didn't. So then the flight, it's supposed to leave at 7:40, gets delayed like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So we're like, oh, brother. Like, and our connecting flight was like we had 45 minutes to spare.
Oh.
So we were getting in Seattle. We had maybe like 45 minutes, and then we were boarding, which you don't really get 45 minutes because they board so fast.
Yeah.
So we all get on the plane. We're all seated, and it's so funny that they drive planes. They have to drive them around the airport.
Yeah.
I was like, that is the funniest thing ever. And so then the captain
what
said,
do you think they did?
well, I don't know. I just never thought about it. I really just never thought about it. I never had to think about it. I never flown before.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
oh, my Lanta, they drive the plane. Like, it's so funny that you see these big, huge wings, and they're just shaking.
Just driving like a car.
Yes, and they went pretty fast, and I was just cracking up. Anyway, so the captain goes on the intercom thing, and he goes, well, we are, what did he say?
Was it like, did they do like the stereotypical, like, no, this is your captain speaking.
No.
We're going to be experiencing some brief
No.
turbulence,
They didn't.
They always say that they do that.
I don't know if he said this is your captain speaking or not. I wasn't really.
Was it like, like
They do
before he
the little,
talked?
the ta-da, whatever.
That's so
The
cool.
little sound every time. And so then he said, there's, oh, Melanta, it's going to bother me that I don't know the exact word he used because it was just like a car. There's like road, oh, Melanta, like the planes were like backed up or something like.
On the runway?
Yeah. There was a bunch of, it wasn't like backed up. He didn't say that, but it was so funny. I kept getting so
It's
tickled.
like a
but
traffic jam or something
I
like
think
that.
he did say there's a traffic
That's
jam.
funny.
I literally think that's what he said. And so here we are in our plane, and we get up to like this. I don't even know how to even explain the runway. They're so confusing. But there's about maybe like 10 planes that I can visibly see that are ahead of us on the runway.
That's so weird.
And so he said there's some traffic jam, and
this
we're
was Seattle?
no,
This
we're
is
still
DFW.
DFW.
Okay, dear Lord.
And so by the time we left DFW, it was like 9:20, and our plane was supposed to take off at 7:40.
Yeah, I was tracking y'all with my app, and I was like,
we were sitting on the runway waiting to go.
yeah, I saw that it said it was delayed, and every time I like look on the app, it would say this much later, this much later, and then.
So by the time we left, we were sweating. We were like, we're not gonna make it. We're not gonna make it.
Yeah, because I was connecting flight.
Was like 45. I don't remember the time. There was a time change. It changed like an hour. So I was really that
threw you off already.
It gets you really confused.
Yeah.
And so we were supposed to land in Juneau at like 12 Juneau time, but 3 our time.
Gotcha.
And so we missed our connecting flight by like 30 minutes. And we were so mad because surely, like, if they're going to delay the flight, the connecting flight, they would delay it 30 minutes. Because that's what Dad said. That's what they normally do, but they didn't. And I wonder if American does it because we were on Alaskan Airlines.
Interesting.
So then we have to get off our plane and figure out what the heck we're supposed to do. If we can get another plane or what. So we asked somebody, and they direct us to the Alaskan like help desk. Graydon, the line to that help desk, I'm not even kidding you, was like over a mile long.
Oh my gosh.
The wait for the line was about 2 hours.
Bro.
And
you have to go into it to like
you have
get
to
another flight
to see what you can do. Like if they'll refund you, buy you a hotel,
bro.
whatever. It was a mile long. And so me, Dad, and Michael went to go see because we missed our connecting flight. So we're like, do we need to get our suitcases here? Because usually they'll just put on the next plane and then they'll go. So here we are walking out, and there's a security guy sitting right there. He's a bigger man. Oh, I want to murder. Anyways, he was sitting there, and so Dad had turned to him and asked him about the baggage, and he was very rude. He said, I'm just a security guard. I don't know anything about that. I'm just the security guard. I can't help you with that.
God.
Over and over and over again. And so Dad was like, okay, so can we just go back this way? And he goes, they already passed the red line. They can't come back this way. Me and Micah were past the red line by not even 2 feet. Wouldn't let us back. Dad was like pissed.
I can imagine.
So Dad walks back. Michael was behind the red line, but she walked with us because she didn't want me and Micah to be alone.
Behind the red line, that signifies what?
This signifies like in the airport and like getting your baggage and then leaving.
And then once you pass that, you got to leave only?
So the red line, if you pass the red line, that's where you go get your baggage. And so typically once you get your bags, you leave. There's no reason for you to get back in the airport.
Okay.
And so you have to do a security check. Because when you drop somebody off at the airport, you can wait in the like lobby area, I guess. I don't know what you technically call it.
Yeah.
And so you don't have to go through security, but
Right.
once you pass to go through to
I
the
see.
gates,
Okay,
you
I
do.
gotcha.
So we had already passed that point, and so he was like, you're going to have to go through the checkpoint again. And we're like, oh my gosh.
Bro.
So we had to go through like down 2 escalators to get to the baggage claim. And there was about, I'm not kidding you, like 20 baggage claim things. Didn't know where we were supposed to go. There's 50 million people there. And so we didn't know how to get our bags at all. Didn't know what we're supposed to be doing. No one would help us. There wasn't anybody there to help us. And so we finally get to the end of one point, and they asked about, because it was connecting flight, and they were like, no, it's already on its way to Juneau right now. We're like, how is that even possible? Because we were the last plane. That was the last plane to Juneau that night. Like, how is that even possible? So here we go. We're all waddling through, we have to go through security again. We have no boarding pass, so there's no way that they're going to let us in. So here we are. It's freaking,
It's
at
already
this point,
so stressful.
at this point it was 12, I think like 12 in the morning. Micah gets a hold of somebody at the Delta, which is not even the same airline, and told her the whole situation. She got us a security pass. Bless her heart, she was like a freaking miracle worker, which basically just allowed us to go through security again without having a boarding pass.
Okay, nice.
So we get through there. The first time Micah went through DFW, they patted him down. So we get through the second one. I have to take all of my crap out of my backpack again, put all my crap back, and we have to go find our parents. Micah gets patted down again. This is the second time. And we're like, oh my gosh, Micah, what do you have? They like checked under all his crap, all his like freaking bracelets. We find mom and dad. They did not even make it. They're not even halfway in that line when we get back, and we were gone for about an
it would have
hour.
been an all-nighter.
Yes, we were gone for like an hour and a half.
Dude,
it wasn't like no quick little trip because it took us a long time. When we get to the desk, we're like, we need to get all of us to Juneau. What can you do for us? And they were saying that all the rest of the flights to Juneau were booked, and that there was one going out Wednesday that we can make. And we're like, no, like,
it's pretty much like the day before y'all come home.
Like, that's not going to work. We need something else. And so they had to split us all up to different planes. Me, mom, and dad had to fly to Anchorage, which is about a 3-hour flight from Seattle. And then we would have to fly out at like 5 in the morning. The same day, next couple hours, we would have to fly to Anchorage, and then we'd have to get our connecting flight to Juneau, and then that would put us there at like noon. Juneau, I don't know what time zone anymore.
Yeah,
we would lose. We would then again lose 2 hours. So then it gets real confusing after that, and then they were going to spend 2 nights in Seattle and then fly out Wednesday. Yeah. So
y'all just never slept?
No.
Y'all are just basically pulling a 24-hour.
Oh, we didn't sleep for 36 hours straight.
Bro.
So.
Oh my god.
So at that point, by the time we all got that figured out, we landed at like 12 Seattle time. By the time we figured out, it was 3 hours later. It was 3 in the morning by the time we got that figured out. Our plane boarded 5:40 that morning. And so we were just sitting on a bench, and we didn't sleep, but we kind of rested our eyes a little bit. And then we were up at 4, we didn't have to go through security since we were still back at the back where the gates were, which was we were so thankful for. And so then we went to our terminal and sat and waited, and there's like so many people in like pallets on the floor. Also, that line that we were waiting for to get with people to help us, those were people that also missed the connecting flight to Juneau. And so we were all saying, I don't understand if that many people missed their flight.
Yeah.
Why they, first off,
that plane probably had like 5 people actually on it.
I said, I don't understand why they couldn't have waited 30 minutes.
Yeah, that's weird.
Because they knew we were running late. Or that they would have freaking got up another plane up and run in so we could all go.
Yeah.
Because that's nothing but the airport's fault right there. That was
that's
awful.
really weird.
Oh, dang it. I really wish I could remember crap in order. So when we were on the DFW flight, Monday night, so it was a 4-hour flight, so we wouldn't have landed until like noon Seattle time, midnight Seattle time, whatever. So I turned 19 on the flight. Then we lost.
It's a weird way to turn 19.
We lost an hour or a couple hours. I don't know how many hours we lost.
Turned 19 again.
So then I turned 18. I went back to 18 for a couple hours, and then I turned.
Say that.
And then I turned 19 again.
It's hilarious.
And listen, if we would have made our Juneau fly, I would have turned 19 3 times. I'm not even kidding you. So, anyways, me, mom, And Dad, here we are, no sleep on us, and sitting at the airport. It was like 5 something in the morning. It was getting really bright. It was so early and it got bright. Gramali had called us, and she was talking to Mom. Yeah, our grandma. She called and then I guess wanted to speak with me. I got the phone and she wished me happy birthday, and I started tearing up.
Oh,
I was like, it was so sad.
When you're sleep deprived, it also like it's
not only
harder to gauge
not
your
only
emotions.
is it the first like birthday I'm not really spending in Texas with my whole family.
Yeah.
But and also like she was looking forward to going.
Oh
and
yeah,
so
they were
was
supposed to go.
upsetting.
That is sad. That is sad.
It was so sad. But anyways, we got through it. So we board our flight.
The actual flight to
Anchorage.
We had
to make a connecting
still
flight.
Alaska though.
There was no direct flight to Juneau. Yes, okay. Anchorage is.
So you're almost in Alaska.
Yes. Okay, so this flight was 3 hours. Also, when they were booking our flight to Anchorage and then to Juneau, there was no seats next to each other. This is my second flight. Didn't sit by neither of my parents.
Oh, jeez.
And Mom, who is petrified, didn't sit by her husband, who could offer her some companionship. We're also all get the middle seats. Me, Mom, and Dad all get middle seats. No window or whatever. So I'm like, great, that sucks.
They're all sandwiched by strangers.
Yes.
That's hilarious.
So I get up to my seat, and I'm at this point, I'm getting nervous because I don't know who these people are. They could be awful.
Yeah.
And, okay, it's an older couple, and he asked me, he goes, "Are you from Texas?" I said, "Yes, sir." I said, "What gave it away?" He goes, "Oh, you gave it away."
Yeah, I'm sure you did.
I just was laughing, and he was just asking me where I was going. And he asked if I was flying alone. I said, "No, my parents are on this flight." And I was telling him there's 10 of us coming. He was like, "Oh, wow." And so
you made a little friend
I did make a little friend. He was so nice.
Well, that's good.
And
that's what it's all about.
Which I put my headphones on. I was so sleep deprived.
Yeah.
And so also they have on the planes, they have an exit up at the front, an exit at the back, and then 4 in the middle. And so if you get seated in those seats where the door is, the emergency exit, you have to verbally give your consent, I guess, to take on the roles of what that would entail. And so
Interesting.
Like, if something happens, you would have to, I don't even
You'd
know.
have to kind of, like, clear the way, I guess, and stuff.
And then, like, freaking open the door and, like, jump out. I don't know. I mean, I assume. Okay. And so,
you have to volunteer to jump out.
You have to, and you don't get the parachute. Anyways, dang. And so, first off, the freaking flight attendant was a freaking woman with hips as wide as a freaking boat.
And them birthing hips.
She freaking hit you with your hips every time she walked up and down the aisle. And I was on the freaking outside, so she kept hitting me with her big hips. And so, anyways, I got the the seat where the emergency exit's in the middle.
You were going to have to jump out.
Yeah. So if things went wrong, I would have to jump out. Second flight, she said, "I'm going to need you to give your verbal, like a verbal thing that you're aware of what the roles
consent
take."
Is funny.
She didn't even say consent, but that's pretty much what it is. You had to make it verbally known that you would be willing to take on the roles. And so everybody, okay. She went down.
Seems like you're a little unclear what you're even consenting to.
So they do the thingy where if something happens, the freaking thing's going to come down, put over your mask. And so she goes down the line. Literally, there's 6 of us, and she goes down the line to make sure we all consented. And she said, and if you need to know what that entails, just read the back of the pamphlet. I'm like, I'm not reading the back of the pamphlet. If something happens, no one's going to freaking know what to do anyways. So I didn't read the book, and I consented to something I don't even know what I consented to. But anyways, we make it to Anchorage.
Okay, we're in Alaska.
And
we lost about half an hour into this.
We lost 2 hours, so we were really jacked up now.
I can't imagine, dude.
I mean, like, it
sounds horrible.
And I nodded off on the flight, but I was like standing straight up, and the seat was like kind of a distance from me. And so then I would feel like something was falling, or I don't know. And then I would just like jump.
you
and I
were
was
just
like,
you were tweaking at this point.
I was tweaking, and I had to make myself like do something or like try and wake myself up, because these poor older couples are probably thinking, what the heck is wrong with this woman? This young kid, they probably thought I was 12, and that's probably why they asked where my mommy and daddy were. So Mom directed us to our terminal. She's the one that had access to all of our boarding passes. We didn't. She was
gatekeeping them.
She was gatekeeping, literally gatekeeping from our gate. And so she takes us to, I think it was like Terminal 4. I don't know what letter it was. And no, that wasn't our terminal. We caught it like barely, like an hour, not even, it was less than an hour. I said, Mom, this isn't even our gate. And she said, oh. And so we went to Terminal 5. That wasn't even our gate either. Or Terminal 6 or something. We had to go to Terminal 5. Finally, we're all boarded in the plane and going to Juneau. And I get put by this really weird lady. And then this guy, he's a couple years older than me, next to us. Didn't even say one word the whole flight. It was really awkward. And so I'm sitting in the middle. This guy next to me, it's like he's looking this way, and I'm sitting in the middle, so it kind of looks like he was looking at me, or like kind of in his peripheral whatever vision. And so I kept feeling like he was looking at me. No, the dude was asleep the whole time, and I really wanted to look out the window to see what the heck was going on, but I couldn't, because I thought he was staring at me the whole time. And then this woman next to me was reading the Washington Post the whole flight, and kept getting mad when the freaking Washington Post wouldn't load. And so then she would go, oh,
God, bro.
And I was like, oh, my Lanta. Oh, my Lanta. And then a whole baseball team of little boys, not even 12, were on the flight with us. And so they were behind us.
Playing travel ball in Alaska.
They have to get on plane rides or ferries to travel, to go to different schools.
That's crazy.
Like, that's mind-boggling.
Yeah,
like
either
a 3-hour ferry ride or however many hour flight. Oh, well, not to. Anyways, they had a lot of oh my Lanta, whatever. Whenever freaking the weather gets bad and like it shakes the turbulence. Thank you.
Yep.
And so it was kind of getting a little bad, and so we were landing. And it literally, Graydon, looked like we were landing on the grass.
Oh.
And this little boy behind us, he goes, are we just going to land on the grass? Like, what's going on? He goes, where's the runway? Are we landing on the grass? Like, is this an emergency freaking landing? I'm not kidding. You couldn't see the freaking runway at all. That was the worst landing. It felt like the entire bottom was going to rip off. It literally felt like it was an emergency landing in the middle of the trees.
Oh my!
It was so awful. Bro. And so, also, our seaplane leaves Juneau at 1:30. We landed at like 12:50.
Okay, so I gotta run
no,
like Home Alone.
It was 1. It was 1.
Oh my gosh! Okay.
And so, Mom and Dad, their rows are before mine. I'm all the way at the back. Okay, so I get off this plane. Mom and Dad are nowhere to be in sight.
Of course.
I don't know where they're at. I'm calling Mom. I said, where are you? And I called Dad first. I said, where are you? He goes, we're downstairs. I'm like, how do you even get downstairs? So I finally figure out how to get downstairs, and I don't see him anywhere. And I call Mom. I said, where are you? She goes, we're downstairs. I'm like, I already went downstairs. And she said, no, there's one more. So I had to go down the stairs. And so they had just like up and left me, and Mom went to get the luggage. Dad went to go figure out the seaplane. And so luckily we get there in time, and the guy's like, yeah, you're fine. You're fine. We're like, oh, thank the Lord, because they just freaking hauled butt to get over here. And so we just had to wait a little while, so we let him check our bags, and then he said, okay, a guy will come out in just a minute. Literally, he was like maybe 10 minutes. We're like, oh, great, this will be great. No, Graydon. Weather got bad, and so it was like 2. The guy came and got us. They had another seaplane going out, and so he came in and got us. We were all walking outside. It was raining. It wasn't like pouring, but it was raining. And the people that were getting on the other seaplane said, "Oh no, like we can't go out." They told them that I don't know if the fog got bad or something, but they couldn't fly. And so we had to go back inside and wait like an hour or two.
Bro.
Didn't fly out from Juneau until like 4 or 5. Here we were supposed to land in Juneau. The seaplane's 20 minutes, so we would have gotten there like 2.
Yeah.
No, we got there like 4 or 5. Graydon,
Oh my God,
the seaplane, you couldn't see anything out. It was literally like, it was white. It was like you surrounded the whole plane with like white.
Like,
Couldn't
you're just
see.
like, how can this pilot even
Yes.
freaking know?
So
oh my God.
we had to switch planes because the plane that he had taken us in was an instrument, which basically you don't need to actually see anything because you have the little whatever.
I see.
And so me and Dad were like, "This is so cool." Mom's pale white.
Yeah.
Pale white.
I probably would have been with her.
And so we flew the 20 minutes. There was a little bit of turbulence. It wasn't that bad. And me and Dad were just in awe. Like the dude couldn't see anything. It was foggy. It was cold. Couldn't see anything. And he flew us there. The landing was the best landing that we had out of all of our flights.
So just surprisingly the best part,
and he was so good. And he was so nice. So we get there. We had 3 rooms booked. And if you don't get there or whatever, they give your rooms away and then you have to pay. Like you literally have to pay the fee or whatever because you didn't
So I see where this is going.
Okay, so we get there. We only have 1 room. Marla and Michael, they won't have a room when they come. So we're like, whatever, at least for the night. Because we could have worried about the next day because we had time. And so we went ahead and put our stuff down, and we were like starving. We hadn't had a full meal, anything in so long. So we got the tour of Huna. That's where we traveled to. And we ate. We get to our hotel. Mom was so freezing cold. Me and Macy had to go to her little housing, get Macy's heated blanket and bring it for Mom. Mom just gets underneath, dead.
Yeah, I mean,
Dead
I can't
to the
blame
world.
her from all that.
She was dead to the world. Dad blew up the bathroom. I needed a change. I was still in my clothes. I needed a change. Dad was blowing it up. And Mom was dead asleep. And she looked like she was in pain the entire time she was sleeping while I could see her.
She's just like wincing, having nightmares.
No, she wasn't. Like
freezing.
Her face, it was like she was frightened. Like that's what her face was like pictured. And so Macy stayed with us.
Sad.
It was so sad. And Macy stayed with us that night. And so it was me and Macy. And then finally we got changed. Dad blew it up.
Reunited at last. I bet Macy was excited.
Oh, she was ecstatic. Like she goes, I feel like this is a crossover episode. The entire time she's like, it feels like a crossover episode.
Yeah, because that's like her life now. Like,
Yeah, but anyways, we slept, woke up at the butt crack of dawn. Our hotel's breakfast didn't open till like 9 in the morning, so we went to. It's called the Fisherman's Daughter. It's like a local food place there. So good. Had a waffle.
Ooh, I bet that was.
Divine.
Mm.
We ate there. It was like 7 in the morning, and we go to the marina. It was like literally like a mile, not even a mile away, and me and Dad are just looking, and Macy and them go down to the marina. I didn't want to have to climb up the freaking 90. It was like a 90-something degree angle. Or 65. Dad literally got his.
Wall.
Dad literally. Oh no, it was a 65 degree angle.
Okay, I was about to say.
Dad literally got his freaking thing out and
His
like
drone?
measured it.
Oh, like,
No.
Oh, I got
He
you,
didn't
got
take
you.
his drone out. And so then we all drove. We were waiting for Michael and them. At this point, it was Wednesday. So we were waiting for all of them to get in. So they were flying in Wednesday morning. We were so thankful to at least get there on our birthday.
Mm-hmm.
So we're like, happy birthday. Me and Macy saw each other, we're like, happy birthday. And so, anyways, we're waiting for them to get in. I think their flight was supposed to get in at like 10:40 or something that morning. And so we were waiting on them, so we just drove around. we went to this really cool little spot, and Dad tried to get his drone out, but they wouldn't give him access, like, for security or whatever. I think it was because the seaplanes were going that morning. And so we saw a bear.
Ooh.
And then we heard the tour guide, who was in the shadiest van with like a wooden board over a window. That's how shady it was. Talk about how he thinks it was a male because he thinks his balls just dropped. And we're like, and an old lady, I think, asked the question about that. I was like,
This was
okay.
like the tour guide
Yes.
of the actual
They
thing?
we were trying to go and get Marla and them because they had just landed and we're on our way out. They were on a bridge, just all like standing. And we're like, what is going on? I guess they must see a bear.
Yeah.
So we killed it and we got to see it.
You killed it? You killed the bear?
We killed the bear. Got him in, I lugged him all the way to Texas. And so we saw the bear. It was so exciting. Mom was like,
I bet that was cool, dude.
Mom
A
was
bear in the wild.
ecstatic. I'm like,
Really?
Mom, when we went to Colorado, you said don't get raped by a bear. And now you're like, woo, bears. Oh my gosh, it was so funny. And then we're like, how are we going to fit 7 more people in this little dinky vehicle? So then they had to get the Marina van to go pick everybody up. So we all got over there and we were like, hey guys, we haven't seen you in forever. We're like, everybody was there. The whole gang finally had made it to Alaska. Our whale tour was literally like right after they got in. So we didn't have time to figure out the whole hotel situation.
You just had to get on a boat and go
so,
out and look at some whales.
Yep. We didn't know if we were going to be able to get on the whale tour because the deal is if you're bringing your family for the whale tour, since it's free, they can't give you the spots unless all the tickets sell that are going to sell, and it's till it's last minute. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So to
Or
get
kinda
10
just waiting.
to get 10 or 11 people on the ferry, not the ferry.
It had to be a
yeah,
pretty
it was
not
like a
packed
miracle.
ride.
We literally had enough people to get on the whale tour.
That's great.
The last whale tour that they were going to do for like the next 3 days.
Oh man.
So
y'all barely squeaked
we
in.
barely got it. And so we get on the whale tour. We're all so excited, and we get out there, see 3 humpback whales.
Ooh,
And
nice.
none of them I don't know what she says, that I can't remember the technical term right now. But none of them like basically came out of the water. Macy's gonna watch this.
Breached.
Yeah, Macy was sorry, Macy.
Gotcha.
So none of them breached, which we're like, oh, dang it, like that's kind of what you expect. Nobody realized that's not the reality of a normal whale tour. And so, anyways, we see 3 humpbacks. They're really loud, like they're breathing and stuff.
They're like,
Yeah.
like all that.
It was really, really neat. They weren't that far away from us.
Dang, dude, that's so cool.
And you could see their tail, and one of them has like a rip out of it, and they its nickname is Wedgie. And I think it had gotten caught in either like a crab net or something like that. And he'll sing.
Oh.
And so
He's like, Figaro, Figaro.
that's so good. Oh, that's so good. Ice, ice, baby.
he just sings like the 2000s greatest hits.
Dude,
and like
that would have been so sick. Like, go Wedgie, go Wedgie. So the well, there's 2 little well people that give the tour and like say, oh, this is this
tour guides and all
whale.
that.
Yeah, the tour guides that like they like study the animals and each like little marking on the whale so you can know specifically what their nicknames were. That's so fascinating.
That is cool. So was Macy off?
Macy was off,
And she was on the boat, but she would normally be the one
Yes.
talking. Gotcha.
And so they actually tried to get us on her boat, but we didn't. We got there obviously a day later. Well,
That's
they
nice
did.
that she got to just enjoy it.
Yeah, and so she's like, I've never gotten to just like sit back and like see what it's like to be an actual like tourist. Macy knew more about
That's
the
awesome,
freaking
dude.
whales.
I
Like,
figured she'd take
Macy
on what,
was.
take
It was
load of that.
so amazing to see her like geek out.
Yeah.
And but Macy figured out all the whales that were there. And she was so ecstatic. And she was like, I just really hope we get to see an orca whale. And then we got to see some, what the heck are they called?
Seals?
Seals. Yeah. No, not seals.
Oh,
No, it wasn't a
sea
manatee.
lions.
Sea lions, yes.
Okay. I think those are the same thing.
Yeah, so we saw a sea lion, a whole bunch of them on those little tower, the little like tower things
Yeah.
that they mark, and then they were
Gerald.
and they usually fight to get on there. Well, when we got over there, one like jumped up on there, and we're like, oh my gosh, it's gonna be a throwdown. We were so excited.
Awesome.
And of course, there's this one seagull that's just sitting on top of the thing, like there always is in every movie.
Yeah.
And so they didn't fight, and the freaking sea lion its head was like this. Its body was like this, and its head was just sticking out like this. And they were really fascinating. And then we saw like sea otters and really cool jellyfish.
Dang, dude.
And so we had to head back. We didn't see an orca, so we were all kind of like bummed out.
Yeah.
And so, but apparently they hadn't seen orca whales in like a week. So
they're off tending to some things, I
yeah.
guess.
And so, which was
Maybe
interesting.
they went on vacation.
It was real interesting though. She said they were saying that humpbacks, they travel to Hawaii because that's where their mating season is. Like that's where they go. But orcas, they don't. They stay in Alaska. And so Macy was really, really working like, oh, like please. And so
she was trying to summon the whales.
She was
trying
literally
to
manifesting it. So we're on our way back, and all of a sudden the girl tour guide and then Macy just freaking jump up and start squealing on this boat, and they're like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. And the captain, Mason, was sitting up there, the captain also, like he wasn't with us. They saw an orca, and so they had radioed on
awesome.
it. Dude, so we all like, he goes, okay, I know we're supposed to be getting back, but we're going to stop and we're going to see some orcas. So we're all like, yeah. And so we all get out there. Great, and there's like 6 orcas. And then one of them just had a baby. And they said you can tell by them being like new babies if they're like pink. If this one was red. Like, it was fresh out the womb.
Fresh.
The girl said, this one is a fresh one. I was like, yeah, dude, she is fresh. But anyways, they were so pretty. And we were just in awe. And it was and I was kind of sad because they don't nickname any of the orcas just because there's so many of them. And,
yeah, that would be much harder to like identify each one for sure.
But they had said this is a group that they hadn't seen before.
Oh,
and
wow.
So it was so stinking cool.
That's awesome, dude.
So we all go eat. Everything's shutting down because the cruise ship that had come was leaving at like 4 or 5 or something. And so when a cruise ship leaves, they'll shut everything down because they ain't gonna make no money. And so we're like, well, crap. Like, we wanted to go really look at all of the shops and stuff. So we got 2 free excursions. So one of them was gonna be the whale tour, and then the other one you could have either had like a bear tour or the zip lining. We weren't going to do the bear tour strictly because it's not a guaranteed thing that you're going to see a bear on the sighting. And, like, also, freaking ziplining, duh.
Yeah.
So by the time we got there, I mean, everything was like, everybody's wrapping things up and they were leaving. We're like, oh my gosh, are we going to be able to go? Are we going to be able to go? But we didn't end up getting on it, which it sucked. But I was like, you know what? We got the freaking whale tour. You know, we all got to make it.
That was like focal point of Alaska.
Yeah,
to see the
you don't
whales.
think of freaking zip lining when you go to Alaska. You think of the awesome whales that you're going to see.
Especially because that's where they work, like, on the boats.
Yeah, so then it was like that night, girlfriend. So then we had to figure out the room situation. And we're like, oh, great. So they had no rooms. Minnie, hey, let's not do that. Okay. And so, but no rooms. So Mason and Kennedy had to go and stay at a friend's house Marla, Aaron, Loxley, Cohen, Michael, Micah, and Tina all had to stay with Mason. And then they have this freaking roommate. So they were all talking about her teeth. And I was like, oh, okay. I mean, yeah, the woman only has 3 teeth. Apparently, listen. So she had this one guy that's, I think, a captain of one of the ships. She had gone up to him and asked if he had, like, pliers. And she said, and he's like, yeah. And she was like, I need you to pull my tooth.
Oh, God.
And he goes, well, can I, like, make an event out of this? Like, so they host a big shindig for people to come out
of this.
And they said he tried and pull it and it crumbled. And so he couldn't get it all out. So he was like, yeah, you're going to have to go to the clinic. And so she goes to the clinic and they pull out like 5 more teeth. And so
they pulled 2 extra teeth than she even had.
Oh my gosh. Then Cohen slept with Macy in her room and she asked if I wanted to stay because Macy's roommate is a freaking DJ apparently, and
in Alaska. Interesting.
She put this whole big shindig in the middle of the woods with 4 DJs, like food and shuttles, and I was like, okay.
Sounds kind of cool.
But I didn't want to stay in her room because it was so itty bitty, and I had this full size bed.
Yeah.
Which I told him, I said, I will sleep if somebody needs the bed, like I'll sleep on the floor, like it's no big deal. But I just didn't want to go in there. So then Thursday we had to leave. This was the day we had to leave.
It was a great trip, everybody.
So me, Mom and Dad we had 1 full day there.
Dude.
Michael and them, maybe the hours did not line up for a full day. I don't think.
Oh my god.
So me, Mom, and Dad got up and we went out back to the place we ate the before. And got breakfast again. We were waiting for everybody to wake up. And so they didn't really get done until like 10 with breakfast. And by that time, I was getting hungry for lunch. And so it was really lovely. And so we actually got to use the Marine, their bus, their van that they go and pick up all the people from their little freaking house in. And so we got to use that, thankfully, because we wouldn't have made it. I don't know what we would have done without
y'all's
it.
Leaving flight?
No, just to drive around the town.
Oh, I got you.
Like, there's 10 of us, and Mason has a little truck, which we could have all sat in, like, the back part, but there wasn't anything to sit on.
Yeah.
And so, technically, only 6 people could ride in that.
Gotcha.
And so, we went again to that same spot. We went when we got off, I don't know. Mason and them had taken us, and then we had saw the bear around that area again, and we really got to look. And Dad got to fly his drone Thursday. They finally gave him like clearance or whatever. I don't think any seaplanes were going out that day because the ferry was so. So he got to do that, and that was the last thing he needed to check off at his list that he wanted to do in Alaska.
Glad he got to do that at least.
Yeah, and so, which he didn't really we didn't get to hike or anything, so we didn't get the really cool scenery stuff that we really wanted to. We go back to the Fisherman Daughter for the 3rd time. Also, this one lady had saw Dad's coffee. We're at the lodge, and she said, "Is that coffee? Where'd you get it?" And Dad said, "Oh, the farmer's daughter." I said, "Dad, it's the fisherman's daughter, not the farmer's."
That's funny.
So we had gotten all our crap together, checked out. We put all of our crap in Mason's truck, and then we all got in the van. And then we went around a little bit, and then we went and ate. We had the 3-hour ferry ride, and the thing was freaking huge. I was like, whoa. It was slow. I'm like, let's get this thing cranking. Yeah, ferries go
so slow,
I'm like, surely you can go faster. A cruise ship passed us.
Yeah, no, it is kind of weird. It does seem like they should go faster. Huh?
I mean,
I guess because the whole point is so, like, you just don't get seasick. It's supposed to be, like, very steady, maybe?
I don't know. So we get to Juneau, and then we got a shuttle from our our hotel. They provide you a little van they'll take you to and from wherever. And so the dude picked us up. There's 10 of us, and then there's like these 2 women that want to get on there, and we had already gotten on there. You can't sit with us. You have to go somewhere else. So then I think they had friends that dropped.
Sit here.
Yeah. Seats taken. And so they couldn't get on our little shuttle with us. The dude was freaking hauling butt, like going. Dude, I don't know if he was speeding, but it felt like he was flying. We got to our hotel. Mom got seasick and was like down the rest of the night. We ate pizza. We get to the airport like 3 hours early. Our flight gets delayed. We had a 3-hour layover, turned into a 45-minute layover. We get on that plane from Seattle. There is every kid on this flight. This one's the 4-hour flight. And this woman is like, okay, girls, okay. And her kids would not shut up the entire time. And they're like, Mom, look at this. And then, so common courtesy when you get off the plane is for every row to keep going until the back.
Yeah.
One row at a time.
Single file kind of.
Okay. So, I'm not going to say the race of these people because I'm not going to get racist.
Okay.
I'm not going to, but apparently it's, I mean, I'm not familiar with the race, but apparently I've been told that these people tend to act like this. Okay, so they're in the back of the plane, and they get to where we're at and, like, start cutting.
They just start beelining it past everybody.
Start beelining. Okay, everybody was, like, throwing a fit.
Bro.
Dad, oh, my Lanta. Okay, he's like, are you just not going to wait your turn? I was like, I was mortified. I don't do that. I can't.
Yeah, you just confronted them.
Yes, and
Call
so he's like,
out.
that's like rude. Like, why would you, like, no, you're going to wait and go back there when you're supposed to. Like, that's not fair. And this guy in front of us, who had, his son was that little boy, and he was jumping on him. I was like, oh my gosh, cutthroat.
Like teaming up with Dad?
Yeah.
Nice.
And so, but there were several other people apparently that were ganging up against this dude. And so I was like,
I'd be mad too.
I was just mortified because I'm like, oh my gosh, we're all tired. We're all trying to get off this plane. We're all claustrophobic. Just like freaking just let it. Like at this point, yeah, I was mad that the dude did that too. But oh my Lanta. And so we got home at like, man, we lost hours, so we were freaking jacked up.
Yeah, so who even knows what time?
It was like, I think it was like 12 here, like Texas time. And then I didn't sleep. Like I had
You're just so off. Like your equilibrium's just thrown.
And we got home, Minnie was screaming happy, and it was just, oh my Lanta. And listen, I have this like brain fog from jet lag, and then my body won't regulate. So like I'm sweating at all times.
Jeez, bro.
Jet lag is no freaking joke. All of that for one full day in Huna.
I'm going to be honest. I was really bummed when I realized I wasn't going to get to go, but now
I think me and Dad may book another ride up there.
Yeah, just to get a little bit of
because we really wanted to like hike and stuff. Like it was beautiful. It was Twilight. the aesthetic of Twilight, that's what it was. It was literally like The Reservation, but you haven't seen New Moon, so.
But I've seen enough.
If for all of you viewers, if you've watched New Moon, you would know. It was that. Picture that, and you were there.
Well.
But and here's the thing: I still missed a bunch of details, but I tried. I tried to really get in.
What's a big couple details that you missed?
Oh,
any highlights?
Well, first off, Macy got you and Mahandra some things.
Nice.
And so I meant to literally do that the first thing. She got you all this postcard.
Oh, sick.
I will take credit for it because I found it and I told her that fit your aesthetic.
Yeah, dude.
And then
Thank you. Thanks, Macy.
I don't know.
Won't focus.
I don't know who she got these for. Because I know she got y'all a shot glass.
Oh.
So she got this one.
Oh, heck yeah, dude.
That one was the one
matches
that
my shirt.
That was the one that she was originally gonna get, but she forgot about it and got y'all this one. Graydon, why are
I
you?
don't know if you can see that, but it has a moose on it.
And then, so this one's what she got, and then she forgot she was gonna give y'all that one. So.
Oh, nice.
So now y'all can do
So we got
Alaska
two,
shots together.
Nice.
And then there's
That's awesome.
some playing cards, but I don't know who they're for. Cause
We'll
all
share.
I know is that she was getting you all the shot glasses and then the
badges.
poster card. So, and then Mason and Kennedy bought me a apron. I haven't even opened it and looked at it. But they got me a little apron, and Dad's gonna steal it.
That's cool.
It's not gonna cover anything on him though. I mean, look how itty bitty. Is this for children?
No, it looks alright.
Oh, well, anyhow, that was my purchase, and then I also got an Alaska shirt and then like a gray zip up.
Nice.
But I didn't get to get what I wanted.
Yeah,
Just
y'all
'cause
have to go. We'll all have to go back and do like the actual cruise, cause
Dude, we were kind of just disappointed that we didn't get to do the zip line.
I know that was like the thing y'all were all talking about.
Me and Dad especially were so ecstatic, but it's okay. We got to see some orcas. I mean, people hadn't seen them for a week, and they came out just for specifically Macy. Let's be honest, but Macy is the will whisperer now. But anyways, you can't make that crap up.
Yeah, no.
All that but who would believe you?
Sounds like it was very balls to the wall.
What was supposed to be originally a 4-flight fiasco turned into a 6-flight fiasco.
Crazy. So you've been on 6 flights.
And I turned 19 twice.
Well, I'm glad y'all got to go. Macy, sorry I couldn't be there, but I'm gonna try to go a time when it's a little less
Well, you have
extreme.
to book it further in advance.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it was fun. The weather was nice, perfect. It was like 60, 50, 60s. And then you come home and have a heat stroke. But it was definitely a memorable, fun trip.
Well, I'm glad y'all survived. I was really worried about y'all on the flights and stuff, but I'm glad that everything went well. Yeah, I was crying, I was ugly crying in the mirror about y'all's flight.
Playing some
and I was banging my head into the wall.
Playing some dark emo freaking music.
I was playing tonight will be the
Dude,
night.
that's
that
what I was thinking of that, but I wasn't gonna sing that because that doesn't really fit what we were talking about.
Well, Macy, glad they got to see you. Glad you enjoyed last week's episode with Deep Roy as, I guess, both y'all's birthday present, really.
Yeah, it's the gift that keeps on giving, and I'm glad that I actually got to marry him at the airport, apparently.
Yeah.
And he took my last name. So, Deep Cheryl.
Deep Cheryl. Anyways, shout out Wedgie.
Shout out Wedgie. Shout out.
That's the new lore of the podcast. Yeah, not sure when this comes out. Not sure when the next episode will come out, but
hopefully by then I will be okay.
Madison will have rested.
Be sure to go check out all previous episodes if you've missed it. Check out the Instagram, his socials, Fish Camp, because that's freaking rad. And if you haven't watched it, you're weird. And that's your personal problem. But anyways.
Till next time.
Adios, amigos.